Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Here's what's happening. I know a lot of people are uploading reviews of Freya Skye's new EP Stardust, and I get that, and I totally appreciate you guys for sharing with the world your opinions on Freya Skye's EP. But the greatest opinions of all time are coming from the fans of Freya Skye, not necessarily the critics or the journalists who are reviewing it. And that's something we have to take into consideration, and we always have to have a greater deal of appreciation for, because you guys, the fans, are what's making everything happen for Freya Skye. You guys have turned Freya Skye into a superstar seemingly overnight, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So when it comes to having these conversations with thousands of Freya Skye fans, it's certainly something that I've always looked forward to. And I put a great deal of heart and dedication behind every Freya Skye video that I've ever had the honor to upload and create. Because once you put your art out there for every Freya Skye fan, it's no longer your art. It becomes the art of every Freya Skye fan. And I think there are fans out there who understand Freya Skye better than any critic or any journalist ever could have the time to understand Freya Skye for the person that she is. Because if you actually take the time to understand Freya Skye for the person that she is, you will understand that she is a very emotionally overcome person. She really feels how people feel about her, and she's always taking everybody's opinions into consideration, which is something that I don't necessarily think that Freya Skye should have to do, because Freya Skye is every sense of the word phenomenal, and because she's every sense of the word phenomenal, and she's just as good as what she thinks she is, I think she should never have to doubt herself, because there are a lot of people out there who have very different opinions that they have expressed about Freya Skye over this last year. I know that a lot of people felt very differently about Freya Skye's performances as the character Nova Bright in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, but there were also millions of people who loved her to death. So because there are millions of people out there that love Freya Skye to death and really with all of their heart, they deserve to be celebrated and they deserve to be honored. And they deserve to be given back something special. And all I've ever wanted to do is share in your experiences with discovering the power behind Freya Skye's characters and her ability as an actress, and just how she's brought all her music to life. Because what she's writing is relatable music. And the one thing that I've always appreciated about Freya Skye is how she's writing such beautiful music, putting beautiful lyrics to melodies at such a young age. The girl's only 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I was more concerned with having the latest release on a PlayStation 2, which was first released back in the year 2000. And that's all I was ever concerned about, having the biggest and greatest PlayStation 2 video game collection of all time. I wasn't concerned about becoming a superstar. It kind of just happened for me overnight once I became a journalist on YouTube and started posting commentaries. But I never thought that I would gain so much recognition and rarity for my reviews on Descendants of Zombies through the years. Over the last 10 years, for pretty much my entire life, I've been posting reviews about Descendants of Zombies, and I've become everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies reviewer on YouTube, and certainly one of the most notable figures in the history of these franchises. Because how I've been able to tell this story to thousands of people who have always taken something special away from the stories of both Descendants of Zombies. It has become the greatest honor of my life, and seriously, guys, the most fun that I've ever had, because it's one thing to sit down and talk about Descendants of Zombies with thousands of people who feel the same way or who love it with all of their heart. But when you get the opportunity to meet so many incredible fans, that is a feeling that is truly undescribable, and there really is no comparison. I remember years ago when some of the most popular Disney stars of all time were receiving a lot of recognition, and it was very notable how people like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez were about to explode in popularity. But I have never experienced anything with the popularity and the rarity that Descendants of Zombies has gone on to achieve. They are well on their way, the casts are, to becoming some of the greatest of all time. And if they never did anything else for the rest of their lives, they would go down in history for being one of the greatest of all times in terms of the cast. Because I remember casts of iCarly and Victorious and how much recognition they were receiving and how much praise they were receiving. For the cast, of course, of Victoria Justice, Ariana Grande, Leon Thomas. I was very fond of them, and just a couple of days ago we celebrated the final episode of Victorious, which happened back in 2013. I remember how emotional of a time that was for me, because I never wanted to say goodbye. And I've never wanted to say goodbye to Descendants of Zombies. Here's the whole issue that I have with Descendants of Zombies. I have never wanted to say goodbye. So because you guys have believed in an everlasting dream for Descendants of Zombies, a dream that you've never wanted to wake up from, I've always wanted to encourage that. I felt the same way about Hannah Montana. I felt the same way about High School Musical, because I never wanted to say goodbye. And many years later, about 15 and a half years later, nearly 2 decades later, I don't want to say goodbye to Descendants of Zombies. So the best thing that we can do together is come together as a fandom and give people out there more of a reason than ever before to never have to say goodbye and to believe that a new chapter will always happen for Descendants of Zombies, and something phenomenal will come of Freya Skye's career and her choices that she's making in life. Because you have to understand how much pressure Freya Skye is under. She's signed to one of the highest revered record companies in the world, Hollywood Records, who have signed names like Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, and many others through the years. The Jonas Brothers are in there as well. There are a lot of big names signed to this label. So can you imagine how she's feeling when she got the first ever opportunity to sign her name to a Hollywood Records contract? She must have been crazy over this. And I think that the more people that understand the pressure that she's under, the more great reviews will be posted about Freya Skye, because there are a lot of people out there, I mean, I have to be honest, who feel very differently about Freya Skye's music. There are people out there that don't even know who she is. So the more people that we can make aware of who Freya Skye is and they can identify with Freya Skye's music and the name that she has established for herself in this industry, the more proud I'm going to be of all the videos that I've ever had the honor of uploading. If you notice anything about this YouTube channel archives, there are so many videos about Freya Skye that have been archived because I have a greater level of appreciation far more than any other YouTube creator out there in terms of content for Freya Skye. And all I've wanted to do is showcase just how beautiful of a career Freya Skye has had so early on in her life, because she's just 16 years old, and you think about the success she's having now. Can you only imagine how much success she's going to go on to achieve when she's 25, 26 years old? That is going to be absolutely incredible. By the time that girl is 26 years old, she's probably going to be at the same level that Taylor Swift is in. And the thing is, I will forever and always have this conversation with thousands of people who feel the same way about Freya Skye, because I've always believed that Freya Skye could be in the conversation for being the next Taylor Swift. You think about the numbers that Taylor Swift is putting out there, standing at a revenue of over $1.6 billion in revenue. Now, I know Freya Skye's revenue is nowhere near that as of right now. But who's to say 15, 16 years from now she won't be at the same level of Taylor Swift? I remember years ago being very fond of some of Taylor Swift's early music, but as the music changed through the years and Taylor Swift forever and always constantly evolved, I kind of lost appreciation for Taylor Swift's music, because every song that Taylor Swift would release would sound the same. But if you actually listen to Freya Skye's new EP, the thing about Freya Skye's new EP is that Freya Skye, every song sounds different on this EP. Even if it's only 5 songs of a compilation, every song sounds different. And more people relate to this than ever given credit for, because of how you're really going through the same kind of thing in your own life. You're finding time and really appreciating Freya Skye's sound and her music, and how she's putting such beautiful lyrics to beautiful melodies. And you think about the success she could have 15 years from now. Think about how wonderful her music is now, and just how wonderful her music is going to be many years from now. It is an opportunity and a celebration and a conversation that I'm going to look forward to having with many people, because even with how many fans of Freya Skye I've already had the honor of meeting, I know that I've got my work cut out for me, because there are millions of Freya Skye fans out there, so you guys got to give me time. Because as a YouTube content creator, you never know how far your video is going to reach or how well received your videos are going to be. Everybody has a different opinion about you as the content creator. But believe you me, guys, there are a lot of people out there that have very different opinions about Freya Skye that they've wanted to express and they've wanted to leave behind for forever. And it really has emotionally affected a lot of fans. And sometimes, as a content creator, that's why content creators get the response they do, because they never seem to have that same level of appreciation that a Jonathan Clarke has for Freya Skye. Here's the thing. I've taken a great deal of pride in understanding my audience, and as long as I understand my audience for how you felt about Descendants of Zombies, it's something that I've carried with me forever and always. And I've always wanted to showcase that in every video that I've ever had, because many of you feel passionate about the vinyl that Freya Skye just released. Apparently there's going to be a vinyl for Stardust coming out from Hollywood Records as well. They just recently released the Silent Treatment record. That's really amazing too. And apparently there's going to be an entire compilation being released for Freya Skye as well in due time, and I will have more information on that. That will be produced by Hollywood Records. The thing is, the girl is so young, but she still has so much happening for her, and every cast member of the Zombies franchise has been incredibly supportive of Freya Skye, showing an undeniable amount of love and support. I know that Malachi Burton has been incredibly supportive of her work, and I could never be more proud of how Malachi Burton has stood behind her from the very first moment they ever had the chance to work together, because there's a certain level of appreciation that they have forever and always carried for each other and had for each other, and that's something really spectacular. That's really something to marvel in, and that's something that I've always appreciated, because I remember when they collaborated on Snow Angel this past July when they were filming it, and the moments that they shared in were truly something nothing short of phenomenal. And because they were truly something short of phenomenal, the thing is, more people learned to appreciate what Malachi Burton and Freya Skye meant to each other and how incredibly supportive they were. And that's exactly why this music video went on to achieve over 78,000 likes. Just think about it. A music video that you release just one time gets over 78,000 likes and over 1 million views. And then you wonder if Freya Skye is a success story. She is a success story. I mean, what more needs to be said about it? Freya Skye has accomplished more at her age than anybody has ever accomplished in an entire lifetime. And she is up there to have these conversations about Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, because many of you have even referred to Selena Gomez as a queen. I know because I've heard you guys. And while I can find time in appreciating the reviews of Ariana and Selena, I think we can be having these same reviews about people like Freya, because Freya, like I said, is so young. But what she's really doing is trying to figure out her place in the world, because many of us at this age, many of you guys who are watching this video aren't even 16 years old, and you're still trying to figure out your place in the world. You don't even know where you're going yet. So because she's only 16 years old, I think there is a certain degree of appreciation that we can have for Freya Skye every single time that we have these conversations. And if we're going to say anything at all about Freya Skye, we should at least say something nice. Because you got to realize that there is a girl out there today watching this video who loves Freya Skye with all of their heart. And because I can appreciate that, and I can always take something away from these conversations that I will never ever forget, I always want to say something nice, and I want to believe that some way or somehow I can affect how somebody feels about Freya Skye, even if they aren't a fan of Freya Skye or they don't even know who she is. Because of this video, they will look up her music on YouTube. They will probably buy her EP by heading over to FreyaSkye.com, probably buy some merch. Because I think it's really cool how a girl never takes off that Freya Skye hoodie, and is also always so proud to wear that hoodie, because I know exactly what it's like to be a fan of something. You know, years ago, I was a fan of the Backstreet Boys, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I was the biggest Backstreet Boys fan ever. I remember when their first album came out on May 6, 1996. I was there in the lineup at Music World, and I was so proud to be one of the select few people that had the first ever album released by the Backstreet Boys. It featured the song Get Down and Quit Playing Games With My Heart. And just knowing that you had that as part of your CD collection, because years ago CDs were the only thing that you could acquire. There were no such things as EPs or vinyls being released that you could download online. And if you could listen to music online, you had to use dial-up internet. We all remember how it was shh, shh, and the music was probably 30 seconds. It was probably a 30-second clip. There was no such thing as downloading an MP3 or, you know, listening to the music the way that you guys can listen to it now through Apple Music and YouTube and Spotify. It's very different. Times have considerably changed through the years, and YouTube has seen so many advancements. So with the advancements that YouTube has seen, it allows me the opportunity as a content creator to reach more people than perhaps ever before. And I've had the time of my life interacting and meeting so many Freya Skye fans through the years. I would love the opportunity to attend a Freya Skye meet and greet, just to have the opportunity to meet you guys and meet Freya Skye and have the chance to interview her and get to know her for the person that she is. But rest assured, my interview will be very different from the interviews that we've already seen with Freya, because it seems as if the same 10 or 12 repetitive questions are always asked to Freya Skye, and there's never a greater level of appreciation taken away from every interview that may have ever been conducted. I remember seeing one of these United Kingdom interviews that Freya Skye was doing to promote some of her upcoming shows in the United Kingdom. She's heading home to perform as part of the Stars Align tour, and I'm really proud of Freya Skye for having the opportunity to head home, because many people, it takes them years to have the opportunity to head home to perform in front of their home country. So I'm really excited for Freya and everything she has up and coming. So I noticed in this interview, she was so appreciative to be being interviewed for her home country, and she had the opportunity to play her song for the first time ever on the radio. Now, she had never had the opportunity to actually introduce her own song and hit the play button, and when she did, The feeling that she got was truly incredible. Now, I've been sitting behind a switchboard for over 25 years and premiering singles for what feels like forever. And the feeling that I get was not necessarily how Freya Skye felt, but the thing is, just seeing her just become over so flowing with emotion was a feeling unlike I had ever experienced in my lifetime, and something I will never ever forget. Because here's the thing. I feel as if I've been a part of the Descendants and Zombies niches for what feels like forever, and I got the chance to experience everything there was to experience, from the premiere of the Zombies Descendants Worlds Collide Tour, to all the premieres of the Descendants movies, to the premiere of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. I experienced everything with each and every one of you. Together, we've experienced a lot, and I've really had the time of my life having the opportunity to meet thousands of people who have ever felt so more inspired by their favorite characters. Because I don't care who we are, we all have a favorite character that we saw something special in. We all have a favorite artist who has released a favorite song that we've played over and over again. Because many of you, ever since yesterday, have been listening to the Freya Skye EP nonstop. And I got to tell you guys something. If you are somebody who's listened to Freya Skye's new EP nonstop, my heart goes out to each and every one of you. You're probably listening to it on your way to school on the school bus. You're probably listening to it in the car on your way to school or on your way home. You're probably listening to it on your way home from school on a walk. Whatever way you feel about Freya Skye, man, you should continue to feel passionate about Freya and continue to follow your passions, because we've only got one life to live. So because we've only got one life to live and ever only one opportunity to make everything count that happens for us, I think these are moments that should be cherished. And if your friends feel the same way about Freya Skye, then that's exactly why you're friends. Because you relate to each other through Freya Skye's music. And you probably relate to Freya Skye's music because of a certain situation you may have to be dealing with, about how a boyfriend may have been treating you, or how you can't make sense of your own life or your own relationship. It's never really been about how Freya Skye has felt. It's about how Freya Skye is trying to relate to each and every one of you consistently through the music that she is releasing. And I think we can find time in really appreciating that, like I've done as a content creator. Because it's one thing for me to sit in this chair every day and record and share my thoughts with you guys about Freya Skye. But when I have the opportunity to meet thousands of people who love Freya Skye with all of their heart time and time over again, it's a feeling that is truly undescribable. I wish I could have had the opportunity to have attended the Worlds Collide Tour and seen it for what it was worth, because I would have went home and posted some of the best reviews of all time. And I know what you must be saying to yourself. Hey, Jonathan Clarke, even though you didn't attend the Worlds Collide Tour, your reviews on YouTube were still some of the best. I watch your YouTube channel every day because you're my favorite YouTuber. Well, if you're somebody who feels that way, thank you so much, because I think that everybody appreciated the Worlds Collide Tour and everybody appreciated these moments. And I know there have been a lot of rumors floating around online, more especially about the teaser of Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland. People were saying that the first ever teaser was going to drop on February 5th, and I think that was pretty much AI predictions that were being made. And I think a lot of people were sitting at home waiting for that teaser to drop back on February 5th, which was only just about 2 days ago, because today is February 6th, so it's been less than 48 hours. But I know there have been a lot of AI footage that's been thrown up about Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland, and a lot of predictions thrown in there. But I think in due time, Disney Plus and, of course, Disney Channel is going to drop their own versions of this teaser. And until that happens, I think people are going to forever and always be appreciative of these predictions and these rumors. But I think that as long as we can say something nice about the future of Descendants and Zombies, it gives people hope. And that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of, is truly something special for every fan of this franchise. I've just wanted to give people hope, to let them know that something special was going to happen and something special was going to come of this. Because I think that everybody has a favorite character. It could be Kylie Control's character, Red. It could be Malia Baker's character, Chloe Charming. It could be Ruby Rose Turner's character, Bridget. Everybody has a favorite character. Probably your favorite character was Freya Skye's favorite character, Nova Bright, because that was the first ever opportunity that Freya Skye ever had the opportunity to entertain us as a character in a movie. This was her first ever movie. So I think as fans of Descendants and Zombies, we should at least honor this and give Freya Skye a chance, most of all. Because when you give her a chance, only special things will happen for her. And I've never felt more honored to be a part of that and to share in that with every fan of Freya Skye out there who has believed in something special from the very beginning. From the very first moment you saw Freya Skye, you knew she was going to be something special, and you knew it was going to be something to truly marvel in. And I've had the opportunity to marvel in so many incredible moments with every Freya Skye fan out there, and I can't even believe it's already been 20 minutes that I've been talking about Freya Skye. But I just want to let you guys know that we go through 365 days a year here on this YouTube channel, which means we don't break. We go right on through the calendar year. So there is always something new uploaded here on this YouTube channel for every fan of Freya Skye. Of course, tonight marks the first ever performance in the Freya Skye Stars Align Tour, and I couldn't be more honored to be a part of that and to share in that with thousands of people who love Freya Skye with all of their heart. Thank you so much for having loved this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to have been a part of something so special, and an opportunity that I will never ever forget as I continue to seize this opportunity and really make the most of it. If you are somebody who is heading out to the show in Portland tonight for Freya Skye, just know my heart is forever and always with you, and I look forward to some of your opinions and your reviews on this performance. I remember the acoustic shows and how much of a profound success they received in terms of reviews, and I'm looking forward to the greatest reviews of all time coming in about Freya Skye's Stars Align Tour. 15 cities across the United States have been sold out, and it's something to truly celebrate and to be appreciative of. And I look forward to being a part of these celebrations with each and every one of you, and the many more conversations that are yet to happen on this YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, Jonathan Clarke. Thank you so much for having watched this video.